Welcome once again to the ISCANET podcast. Today, once again, we have Isi Ivanova, who is a career consultant, practitioner, and a neurodiversity career coach with over a decade of experience in employability field, who has worked with over and more than 500 individuals, who is going to talk to us today about the latest trend in the job markets. Thank you so much for today, Isi.
No worries. My pleasure to be here.
Can we kick in now?
Absolutely.
All right, so in today's conversation, let's talk about artificial intelligence. Yeah,
Perfect.
everybody knows that AI, right?
It is a hot topic right now in the industry, so
Mhm.
we definitely want to see how we can potentially use it for job seekers, and how they can utilize it.
Now, for who hasn't heard about you before or who doesn't know you, okay, would you like to tell them why they should listen to you?
I love that question. And I guess my experience is that I've worked in the tech industry as a recruiter for quite a while. And then I've been working as a careers consultant for a really long time as well. So in the past over 10 years now, I've been in this industry of helping people, helping individuals with their professional kind of employability skills. And I've seen kind of the change that has happened ever since AI, the hot topic in the industry, came up. And I've obviously been doing this before AI and after AI, and I've seen the product that AI produces. And let me tell you right away, this product isn't the best one out there unless you actually put your personal touch to it. So with the years of experience that I have, with the fact that I've seen the changes in the applications that recent graduates have, it really is quite kind of dear to my heart to actually talk about this and encourage people to definitely utilize AI. I want to mention it. I want to
Yeah.
say from the beginning, I don't think we should drop things. I don't think we should feel negative about things kind of coming up and so on. It is actually a really useful tool to have, but as long as you doing it the right way.
So you're talking about being ethical about AI, right?
This word is a buzzword definitely in the industry,
Yeah.
being ethical. And for me, it's more about, there is this joke of, it's okay to cheat if you know how to cheat.
Yeah.
So you
Okay.
don't want to you don't want to cheat in a way that is going to be very obvious that you're cheating, right? So it's fine to kind of use those tools. It's fine to utilize them, make them work for you, but as long as you're being really, really mindful of how you're doing it and you're actually doing it in the correct way. So being ethical, I wouldn't know like exactly if I would use the word ethical, but I would probably say being mindful
Mindful. Yeah.
and being aware and being very smart with it.
Okay. So now let's not dive into the topic much more better now of artificial intelligence. How should job seekers use AI?
Well, there are many platforms that utilize AI in a good way. One of those platforms is definitely ISCANET, and it's got amazing tools on there where you can use for your CV, use for your cover letter creation, and so on. And they're really good. If you don't want to use necessarily a platform like that, ChatGPT is always there, not a problem at all. I'm definitely not opposed to that idea. But the key thing is that you need to be the one managing the situation rather than expecting that this software is just going to produce everything perfect for you. So you still need to have a really good understanding of what is expected in the market. You still need to have a really good understanding of how to structure your cover letter, of what are the kind of things you want to talk about, what are the personal stories that you want to share, right? But unless you do that in a structured way, unless you do that quite consciously, you're not going to be really successful. So if you're producing a very generic, aka ChatGPT produced kind of CV or cover letter, you're really not talking about you. So it's going to be exactly the same, not very useful thing that you would have used before without you really knowing what exactly you should be focusing on. So essentially what I'm trying to say is use it for the structure, but make sure that you include your personal stories that are going to be relevant to that specific job. There are amazing tools again where you can use it smartly and you can utilize it on a few different parts of your process, where you grab a job description, put it in ChatGPT, get it to pull out the most important aspects of the job description so you understand what is it that you're responding to in your application. And once you do that, you can also ask it to kind of produce a good cover letter following the UK standards. It's also important that if you're going to be in the UK, you follow the UK standards, because different countries have different things that they find important. So in this way, you're following the standard, but you're also thinking about what is my personal story that I can also include. For those of you who have a really well-written CV, which is evidence-based CV, please go and Google that, research what that means. There's again plenty of tools that you can use to help you to make your CV evidence-based. You can also input your CV and actually get whatever AI tool to merge your CV with the job description, with writing the cover letter. And again, you still want to check it out afterwards. You still want to edit it whenever it's possible. You still want to grasp the kind of right tone of what that company is trying to share as well, and use their language. I'm a big fan of reading for a job description, highlighting maybe the keywords of the language that they're using, and really sticking with that into your cover letter as well, so you can speak their language back to them.
I think I see what you're saying there, right? So AI could probably give you a generic, probably advice or information, but the key to making good use of it is to personalize it. Like
100%.
the way we advised for, job seekers should tailor their application and not make it so generic in a way, right?
Absolutely. Spot on.
Okay. So when it comes to AI now, all right, at what point do human beings have to draw the line?
I mean, this is a really big question you're asking here. At what point?
Yeah, because now a lot of people are thinking probably AI is going to replace, job seekers or human beings per se. A lot of people have been like, all right, AI is going to make me as a human being lazy, or as a job seeker lazy. And the perspective is, where do we draw the line between, smart automation or lazy job hunting? All right, because now AI can do a whole lot of things.
Absolutely. And don't get me wrong, I love AI. Again, it's one of the tools that I use all the time as well. But there is always an element of you understanding that this is just supporting you, not replacing you. So can you use it to completely replace everything that you do? If you're someone who is completely without a personality, you don't have anything of value to add to the world, then maybe you can be replaced by AI. But if you are an individual with a personality, with your own thought process, with your own value of how you see the world,
Yeah.
then you will definitely be able to add something to AI, right? You wouldn't be replaced by AI. I think that it's useful to definitely utilize it and make shortcuts in life. There is no need, I always say, let's work smart, not hard. There is no need for you to labor and try and think of the best kind of words. Or even if you do produce something, like you produce a cover letter that you've made, put it through ChatGPT to make sure that it's in a better level. It comes up with a better language. Not a problem at all. But definitely always keep in mind that you are the creator. AI is not a creator. AI helps with functions. It's technology. It's coded, but it's not the creator. You're the one who creates. You're the one who leads it forward. No one else does that. So as long as you are the person behind it and you always add your authenticity and you add your personal touch and your flavor in there, you'll come up with something that is really high quality, already better than what you would have produced on your own, and is still your personal work and is still something that you created.
I think on top of that, right, I want to ask, how do you now personalize? What does, storytelling play? What is the role of storytelling in application? Because, um, AI, as I've said now, it's meant to be a tool. It's meant to be a guide and not have to replace you. So you have to stay putting your authenticity into the application. So what role does storytelling plays in application?
For sure, there is place for storytelling in your application, and I'm thinking specifically around kind of cover letters, but also maybe if you're preparing for interview questions. Even if you feed the job description into the AI tool, even if you feed your CV in there, even if you feed the cover letter in there, there is still an element that this, whatever tool it is that you're using, doesn't actually know you, doesn't know your life, doesn't know your life story. No matter how much you're using it, yes, and no matter how much your AI tool of choice knows you, right? There is still going to be an element of you being authentic and an individual in that situation there as well. So you always want to make sure that you add a personal touch to it. And going back to the question,
Yeah. So what is the role of storytelling?
storytelling
Yeah.
specifically.
Because with AI, we give you some couple of contents, right? Then how do you not personalize it?
Yes. So there is an element there with storytelling that you always want to stick to the general structure of however you prepare. For example, for an interview, you always want to stick to the general structure of STAR technique, right?
Yeah, yeah.
For when you're answering your questions. For your cover letter, there is obviously a preferred structure as well that you can stick to. But then whatever you get as let's call it a lifeless response, produced by the AI, take that, review it, and ask yourself, does that sound like me? Does it actually grasp the main idea that I want to put forward about the thing of how I want to portray myself in this application that I'm putting forward? If I'm answering this particular interview question, is there anything else I can add that maybe AI couldn't have picked up so far? And if there is, include that. You are perfectly fine to include it. Again, if you feel like your language isn't the strongest, put it for AI again, but you would have added and essentially get it to come up with better wording. But you would have essentially added yourself in there. So storytelling, there's an element there for it. You can definitely use your examples. I wouldn't go into like complete storytelling, like we're not writing a book here, but you want to kind of keep it within the boundaries of whatever it is that you're producing. You want to keep it within the structure, but always add your personal flair into everything. And this is something that I really want to share because I say this to all of the clients that I work with every individual I work with. I can tell in about 1 second if the piece of work that you've produced is you or not. It's really easy. It's really, really, really easy.
How can you tell? Because I'm curious to want to know. How can you tell?
There is something about being generic and using, the jargon of the industry or whatever that I can tell that it's not authentic to the individual. It's like I'm very confident that there isn't a recruiter who is a good recruiter who will review a piece of work and wouldn't be able to tell if you just produce that generically and you send it out to 10 different jobs, right? There is something about personalization. There is something about, for example, if you're writing a cover letter, you want to find something about that company that they do that really speaks to you. In your cover letter, you would then mention a personal story, how this speaks to you.
Yeah.
In a cover letter that is generated by AI, there are no personal stories. There is generic stuff. There is, oh yeah, I'm really good at this, and there is, I'm really good at that, but there isn't actually anything.
Personal story, yeah.
There isn't a personal story. There isn't anything of like that individual. There isn't a life, if you will, in that piece of work.
Yeah.
So straight away, you can pick it up really quickly. Doesn't take long at all. So please don't do that. Don't be that individual who produces something that is generic, not authentic, and then just doesn't really give you as much value as you want it to give you. It doesn't really show you in the best way as well. Yes. So there is something to be said about volume as well. What do I mean by that? I know that this is going to be really relevant to recent graduates who are saying, yes, but I want to use this technology because I have to send 100 applications and I don't have time to personalize each and every one of them. Tell you what, yes, volume is important. When you're leaving school and when you're about to graduate, if you've played your cards right and you started doing things early on from year one, and now you feel confident, now you understand the basics of how your CV should look, the basics of how your cover letter should look. If you get those things, if you understand those things, then you will be at a better place, which is great. But then we're going back to like you needing to send at least 100 applications, right? That is a real thing. I also had to send over 100 applications probably when I graduated. And that's okay. But you also want to be really smart about it. Remember, being smart, working smart, not hard, right? We want to make sure that we do that. So how you can do that? It's a quite straightforward thing. You start thinking about what is it that you exactly want to be doing? Which are the kind of jobs that you want to be tackling? What are the industries that you want to be applying for? And when you have that ready, you can kind of work your way back from there and find the right institutions. So actually be very intentional about your applications. So you find the right institutions, you find the right kind of places of where you can be applying. You then know why is it that you want to be working there. You understand your application better. You're more confident with connecting with your personal stories and actually having something of you as an individual to share. And then you can use that. And if it's not 100, send 40 meaningful applications. Follow the process that we were just talking about, utilizing AI to your benefit and to your advantage. And then absolutely, from there, 40 applications. Yes, it takes a lot of work. We're definitely not, no one here is denying you that. Everyone is definitely saying that it takes a lot of work, but it is definitely smoother and easier to do that.
The AI tools is here and it is the future. All right, it's going nowhere and it's going to get better. The US has just invested over $500 million in AI infrastructure today. So it is here to stay. And they have the largest AI tools in the world right now. Okay, so we've got multiple AI tools in the world. Okay, so for you, what's your favorite AI powered job search or job seeking tool and why?
It's a really good question. So I would say that I'm relatively new to AI. I've started utilizing it maybe about a year ago.
Okay.
I befriended it about a year ago. And I started using it very slowly and gently, where I'm definitely using it to my advantage. I'm definitely making it do the hard work for me. But I'm always staying very conscious of the fact that I want it to be my personality that comes forward for no matter what I use it. I use it in my personal business. I have no problem with sharing that. I use it for work that I'm producing sometimes as well, written pieces of work. I utilize it quite a lot. And so whichever platform anyone uses, I'm not so concerned about the platform. I'm more concerned about you being very aware of you using it to your benefit rather to your detriment. Mm-hmm. So platforms, I use like ChatGPT probably the most out of everything, if I have to be honest. But also, we tend to use AI platforms without us necessarily knowing that they're AI based.
Yeah.
So that is definitely there as a thing to kind of keep in the back of our minds. I don't think that AI is going to be going anywhere, but I think that we can be smart about things, befriend it, learn it, understand how it can benefit your life in your day-to-day, in your work that you're doing, how you can become a better professional or better, whatever is it that you want to be doing. Is it in your application process or is it in, anything else that you're producing in your creativity? Mm-hmm. Not a problem. Utilize it, but just be very mindful to not lose yourself in your identity into it.
Thank you so much for sharing that because I think a lot of people actually want to hear that because some people are skeptical. Some people have gone further to understanding how AI works. and how it can work for them. And some people are still pretty much sitting down on the fence. Should I go? Should I not go? I need to get a job. Should I use it? Should I use it? Whole thing. And I think because of the buzz in the recruitment industry now, because AI is actually changing the recruitment space,
Yeah.
and LinkedIn has spoken about it. They've done research about it. A lot of companies now are talking about AI in HR, AI in recruitment. AI is here to stay. It's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Okay. So for job seekers who are new to AI tools, right, how would you advise them not to sound robotic? Okay, to sound authentic when they're making the applications like cover letter, CV.
And you touched on something really valuable here in your question. If you don't mind, I'll address that one first, and then I'll come back to the how to personalize it.
Yeah.
But is the element of, oh my God, these are only recruitment tools, like all of these recruitment tools, they're only AI based. No human being is ever going to look at my application and so on. Yes, there is an element of that. There's been systems, technology has been around for a while. There's been many tools and systems that have been used to shortcut, or rather to cut all the volume of applications that are being received. But if you just understand what is it that is being reviewed, for example, is it skill set that they're checking? Which, by the way, yes, they're checking skill set. Is it keywords that they want to see? Yes, they want to see keywords. So become smart about it. Understand it. I think that as human beings, we're very prone to, if it's something that we don't know about it, we just say no to it, right?
Yeah.
We just decline it. We say no. We push it back. But again, befriend it. Understand it. Dabble into it, play around with it, and see what it comes up with. I think that one of the key things for personalization is that you want it to sound like you. You want it to be, I feel like everyone has their own personality, right? And it takes a moment, obviously, for you as an individual to understand your own personality, to understand what sounds authentic to you and how you like to sound to the rest of the world. So absolutely learn how you can use the tool, but then in the same time, don't be worried about using it and still making sure that it sounds like you. I think that everyone knows and understands what it means for it to sound like them. I hope. I feel like everyone who knows themselves will know what sounds natural and authentic to them and not.
I think so. I'm not 100% sure about that. Yes, I think I'm going to be fine because I'm not sure everybody will know, because I think some people might just need that guide to be like, okay, this sounds robotic, and I think that's where the career coach comes in play. And maybe peer-to-peer, review too, because I know back in school you kind of thought about peer-to-peer review, right?
100%.
Do your work and review by peer, give it to your family and friends to review. Did that sound like me, or what can I do about it, or what do you think?
I agree 100%. I was just thinking about this. So if you're really still confused and you still don't feel confident, you can absolutely work with a professional, with a career coach who knows how to ask you the right questions, to then extract the right information, to then give you the guidance of how you can structure it in a way where it does sound authentic. Now, depending on who your friends and family are, if there are people who are aware of what the industry is asking for, if there are people who are maybe actively applying themselves, if there are people who have the kind of understanding of this and knowledge, at least basic knowledge around it, yes, they're great people to help you. However, if it's, if you're asking your granddad, maybe, who doesn't necessarily know what applications require, again, they could absolutely be HR professionals, no judgment there. But if they're not someone who actually actively is aware of what is being required in the industry, maybe they're not the best people to review your work when it comes to the practical aspects of what a good application looks like. But they can still maybe talk about if it sounds like you. But then you also want to just use your judgment there around if the person that you're about to be asking, do they actually know you really well? And are they able to understand what professional version of you sounds like? Because you also want to keep the right tone of your applications. So it will be you, it will be still authentic, but you still want to keep it professional.
I think on top of that, right? I think people should kind of realize that different people approach feedbacks differently, right? And one of the danger in asking your family and friends to review you is that your family and friend might not want to hurt your feeling by telling you the truth.
Or it's the opposite. They completely just tell you that it's not good.
Blood, exactly.
But they don't know necessarily, and it could be good, right?
I think people take feedback differently. I mean, I advise embrace feedbacks. All right, because no man's an island of knowledge, right? Embrace feedback, listen to it. Maybe not all feedback you have to take on, but just listen.
Yeah.
All right, and be deliberate about which one you take on and which one you drop.
Yes.
Because you know yourself very well. And I think people need to be truthful to themselves.
Yes.
All right. You don't have to do this thing. Don't let your ego come into play. Be humble about asking questions. And one of the things that I enjoyed so much when I came into the UK was when my lecturer told me and said, the only stupid question is the one you don't ask.
Yes, I love that. I love that. Absolutely. I think that asking questions is great, but I'm just going to go back to my think around making sure that you ask the questions to the right people. So if you feel like you're going to ask your family member, they're going to put you down, then don't ask them. Right? Find most of you who are in university would have career services in your university, and they're great if they're a good career service, which I would say that in the last 10 years loads of career services have been upgrading and they've been doing really good work. If they're good, they'll give you a really good advice. If you feel like you need more, definitely go with a career coach professional who will then give you even further. I'll tell you what, if there's someone who is working independently and individually, for the most part, they would be really good, okay? They wouldn't be going out there and working for themselves if they don't know what they're talking about. Trust those people. But if you also want to kind of go about it in the free way, speak with recruiters. Speak with people who are actively in the industry who will tell you some of the insights. Attend relevant events that maybe are also talking about how to utilize AI in whatever sector that you're working in. And, how there are so many events right now from HR practitioners and recruiters who talk about how AI is utilized in their sectors. So the information is out there. If anything, we have information overload in this generation. It's just about discerning which one is the good one and which one is relevant. Just think about it. You wouldn't ask a person who doesn't know anything about building, buildings to build you a really steady building, right? So it's the same kind of thing. You wouldn't ask a person who doesn't really understand careers to then help you build your application because, your foundation is not really going to be strong, is it? So be mindful of who you're asking, but definitely asking the question is better, and you seeking information is better than you staying in a corner and feeling huddled up and overwhelmed.
Yeah. Thanks so much for that, Isi. So as we wrap up, what is that one advice you're going to give to, let me think about it, what kind of person I want to describe, but maybe general job seekers, basically, the ones who have not adopted AI yet, all right, maybe for some reason of maybe still sitting down on the fence, or maybe they don't know about AI and what it can actually do for them, because I know there's a force around AI right now, and we've been able to break down how best to use the tool. So what is that one advice you're going to give to them? What should they do today? Listening to this podcast today, what should they do right now as an action towards using that tool?
I love this question. So the one thing you can do today, right now, when you finish listening to this podcast, is go on the first one that comes to mind, go on the first AI platform that comes to mind, and make it produce something for you. maybe like uploading your documents and so on will be a bit overwhelming. So let's not do that, but make it something very, very simple. Ask it to answer an interview question for you and look at that answer and see, does it sound like you, or how would you answer it? And then when you figure out what would you say differently, type that in, put that information in of how you would answer it, and ask it to improve it for you. And there you would have had the upgraded version of your answer,
Yeah.
utilizing AI in a very efficient way. But still being you. This is probably the best way. So in big summary is tinker with it, go and test it out, try it out, see what it produces for you, see if that sounds authentic to you. And if you make any changes, I promise you, I haven't seen a person who, I've recommended, by the way, there's been a few people in my life who are like, oh, I don't know what to do with this.
Oh, really?
I gave them a couple of ideas and they loved it. And straight away, when it produced like the first result, they were like, oh, this doesn't really sound authentic straight away. So I'm confident that our viewers will have enough understanding of how to do this well. If it doesn't sound, and then you could just continue playing around with it. Keep asking it questions, keep adding to it, keep telling it what you want it to do, right? And if you do that, in the end, you will still come up with something where it's going to be useful. The first few times that you use it, it will take away time from you. So it might take longer to produce, let's say, a cover letter or an interview response, which is authentic. So the first few times you use it, give it as learning time for yourself. But then the more you use it, the more you understand how the algorithm works and how you want to ask your question. So that in the first request that you put to AI, is going to produce exactly what is it that you want, or is going to produce it in less steps than you would normally produce it in. So play around with it. That's my biggest advice. Close this podcast right now and go and play around with it.
So I think you've heard it, right? So anyone that comes to your mind first, play around with it.
Absolutely.
Right? Isi, I cannot thank you enough. Okay, thank you so much once again for today. This was a very exciting conversation we had today around AI. So if you get some value from this podcast, please subscribe, share with your family and friends. Let's share the word. But until next time, keep building and keep connecting.
Take care.